What's up, everybody? I'm Nadav Reese, the financially savvy parent that you always wish you had. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. I welcome you to the first, hopefully of many, the first episode of the Financially Savvy Parent podcast. So I am going to be recording it and putting it on YouTube, but it's primarily recorded in a way that it's going to be focused on audio. So there's probably going to be less visuals. I'm not going to be wearing as many costumes and things like that, but I'm making it available in a means that you can enjoy it, whether it be audio in a podcast format or on YouTube. Whatever works for you, I want you to be able to learn. So today is the first episode, and we're going to be talking about finding your why. Now, I'm on a mission to help parents and families to be able to break the financial cycle that they've been living in. You know what I'm talking about. So many of us are living paycheck to paycheck, and far too many of us aren't really making it to that next paycheck. Now, you've all probably been in that situation where you go to the grocery store and they swipe your card and you're like, oh, please, God, I hope this goes through, right? Or how about this? I can almost guarantee you that at some point you got a bill in the mail and you thought, well, they're just going to have to wait on that. Am I the only one? We've all been there. And I don't think that there's any shame in being in this situation, because when were we supposed to learn how to not be in this situation? Did anybody ever tell you how to keep your finances in order? As a young child, I wasn't taught, how to keep a budget, and this is how you invest, and this is how you prepare for your financial future. Nobody ever sat me down. I did have one time a teacher that sat me down and was telling me about that I probably need to make more money, and he gave me some tips on how to save some money, right? But at that point, I was already married. This didn't happen as a child. And now this type of conversation, about making more money and cutting back expenses and starting to have, being prepared financially, those are I have those conversations pretty frequently now with people because I want to help people to change their spending habits and to start strengthening their financial life. But as a child, there was no guide, no one ever sat me down, and there was no guide to teach me how to be successful financially. Now, when I was 12 years old, my father passed away. He was 42 years old. That's pretty young. Now, my father had recently started a business, and what he did was he had a life insurance policy, and he cashed out that life insurance policy to be able to invest the cash proceeds of that policy into his business. And I think things would have been really well, they would have gone pretty well for us if he would have lived for just a couple more years. He was only about a year and a half into this business and was finally taking off and finally, coming off the ground. And then suddenly he passed away, so we didn't really get to that point where this business could provide for our family. And he had just given up that cushion that we had in the form of the life insurance policy. He left my mother with two young children, ages 12 and almost 2 years old. Now, my mother, she hustled to give a good life to my sister and me. To this day, she still works really, really hard. She's not retired. She's still working and hustling every single day. Now, my parents, they showed me what a solid work ethic is. That's for sure. But no one at any point really sat down and told me how to keep and grow my money and how to avoid financial mistakes. That never happened. Now, I imagine that probably a solid majority of you also lack that education. But is there anybody that we can blame? You can't even blame the people that came before you, because chances are nobody gave them that financial education either. The way many of us were raised, we were taught you go to school, and then you get a good job, and then you're able to provide for your families, and that's life. That's how you do it, right? But then what happened was the advertisers came along, and they said, hey, you work hard, and you're, busting your hump every day, you make good money, you deserve only the best. And we're going to give you that best, right? And not only that, we're going to sweeten the deal, and we're going to put some easy payment terms on it for you too. And that's pretty sweet. And now you're riding around your big old fancy car, and you're driving to your big old fancy house, and all you got to do is keep making those payments. And life feels great because we tell ourselves that we earned it, right? What'll be tomorrow? I don't know. But as long as I keep making those payments, it'll all be good. At least it feels that way, until it's not all good. In my family, we lost a parent. And the last thing, when you lose a parent, the last thing that the next of kin want to think about is having to make payments. Now, what if you lost your job? Or if one of your elderly parents gets sick and you need to stop working? What happens when you realize that your kid's college is way more expensive than you thought it was going to be, and that first year of school just keeps inching closer? Well, you could cash out that 401k, but that was supposed to help you get through retirement. You might pass that college hurdle, but retirement lasts a lot longer than 4 years. What then? That fancy car and its monthly payments, isn't so fancy anymore, and it's not going to help you get through this. I know for a fact that we can break this cycle. We don't need to live this way. What would happen to our fancy things if we started changing our lives? The lifestyle might not change all that much. That's where I come in. With a few drops of knowledge, I'll teach you to be financially savvy. We just need to learn how to operate in a way that doesn't get us into financial trouble. We can live a life with a financial safety net. Your car comes with a seatbelt to keep you safe. I can teach you to have your money act as a seatbelt to protect you and your family. And it'll be a fun journey. And I hope to make you laugh and not cry too much. And I promise you that with every drop of effort that you put into this, it will be worth it. Not only will you be able to take control of your financial ship, but you'll also be in a position to sit down with your children and teach them to be financially savvy as well. You'll be able to give them exactly what you didn't have. Now, what's your why? What's the reason that you want to improve your financial life? What's going to motivate you to keep you going? I know my why. My why is because I lost my father. I know how hard it can be for a family when they lose a parent. I'm working hard to leave my family with a safety net. Hopefully, I live a long time and they never need that safety net, but you never really know. For yourself, you need to figure out what your why is. What is it that can motivate you to make you take those changes and get on that path towards having a healthy relationship with money? Think about all the troubles that you've had, trying to figure out how to pay that bill, or how you could afford this or that, or even just that joy of getting a call from a bill collector. Who doesn't love that, right? Imagine for a moment that your kid never had to go through any of that anguish because you taught them the skills to successfully navigate the financial seas. You could free them from all that pain and worry. Wouldn't that be the gift of a lifetime? And what's your why? You might not know what your why is right now, and that's okay, but you can probably feel it even if you can't verbalize it. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to live by your own rules. Maybe you just want to prove to your in-laws that you are good enough. Whatever it is, it's a good reason. It's your reason. That's your why. If your why is strong enough, because deep down inside it's a thing that motivates you to succeed, it'll help you get through those tough times. The journey isn't easy, and there are sacrifices along the way, so knowing your why will help you get through those rough patches. Sometimes I want to put things off, but like my father, I don't know if there's going to be a tomorrow. It sounds sad, but honestly, it was one of the best things that could have ever happened to me because now I actively focus on taking care of my family and making sure that we'll be fine with or without me. That's my why. We all need a financially savvy parent. I'm happy to be yours. If no one ever sat you down to talk about money, consider this your invitation. I hope that you take me up on my offer. You can join me here on the podcast, or you can check me out on YouTube, whatever works best for you. I'm Nadav Reese, the financially savvy parent that you always wish you had. Welcome to the family. I look forward to many good times, and I hope you do too. You can find this and other episodes of the Financially Savvy Parent podcast on the main podcast platforms. You can also find Financially Savvy Parent on YouTube or at financiallysavvyparent.com. Join the family and learn how to help your family have a healthy relationship with money.